So you telling me that no rap songs are appearing in the top 40 on the Hot 100 for the first time since 1990. And that's ending a streak of 35 years. And now people are creating a conversation on social media saying hip hop is dead because of that. So let me ask y'all a question. Did the industry come first or did hip hop come first? Where did hip hop come from? These are the two main questions you got to ask yourself when you're trying to figure this out. If the answer is hip hop came before the industry and hip hop came from the streets, the people, right? This would mean that the industry can die, hip hop cannot. It's that simple. The industry can die, hip hop cannot. There's a difference. Hip hop created so much demand that an industry was created, right? A set form of ways to get these songs promoted, etc., was created. Now there was a music industry, of course, but for specifically hip hop had to create a demand first. What does this tell you? Without the industry, hip hop will create that same demand. Now, will it be flashy for everybody, for a whole bunch of artists? Probably not. It's only going to be a few artists, I think, from this point forth that are going to dominate the charts for a little bit. You feel what I'm saying? That's what I think is possible. But does that matter? No. That don't matter. Why does that matter? If you love hip hop and you love the music, the charts don't validate that. Now, I'm also not one of the people that's going to pretend like the charts don't play a part in the hip hop discussion. When we talking about greatness and all that different stuff, that's a little cherry on top. So I'm not one of there's some people who only listen to the underground. And I was like that when I was younger, right? Like, there was a point where I only listened to the underground music. I only listened to boom boom unless it was like somebody who contributed underground aspects in they hip hop, right? Like a Kendrick Lamar, etc. I got to a point where that's really all I was listening to. But then I'm like, bro, there's good music in commercial as well. You feel what I'm saying? And it's okay to like both, but it's also okay to only like one. So I'm not going to be one of those people that say, oh, the hip hop, the charts are anti hip hop. I think the charts can be converted into being pro hip hop somehow. I don't have the know it all no more, but somehow I think this next wave of hip hop that we about to see, these new guys coming up, new girls coming up, all that different stuff, we will see a different set of hip hop on the charts, especially because that hip hop is going to bring in money. I think that is possible. But for a little bit, you're not going to see a whole bunch of, you know what I'm saying, different songs on the charts dominating all the different stuff, because that's not the essence of this anyway. Now, the goal should be to make the industry bow down to the essence. That should be the goal. To make the industry bow down to the essence. You need hip hop, and at this point, the hip hop is in the essence, so you gotta use it and push it. That's what I think the ultimate thing should be. To make it to where the industry gotta bow down to the essence. Is it there all the way? I don't know. Probably not fully, but if that's the goal. So we had these conversations about hip hop dying and all that. We'll get back to that. But let's just look at the rule. That's the real reason why there are no rap songs in the top 40, right? Billboard cracks down on long-running hits with aggressive new Hot 100 rules. Billboard is tightening its grip on chart longevity, announces sweeping changes to its recurrent rules that would dramatically reshape the Hot 100 landscape starting October 2025. The music industry standard bearers new regulations will impose stricter thresholds for how long songs can remain on its flagship chart, replacing previous criteria that removed tracks after 52 weeks if below number 25 or after 20 weeks if below number 50. Under the revised framework, songs will exit the chart if they fall below number 5 after 78 weeks, below number 10 after 52 weeks, below number 25 after 26 weeks, or below number 50 after 20 weeks. Exceptions may apply case by case, particularly for songs showing renewed momentum or holiday classics, which receive special allowances to re-enter above number 50 before the new rules take effect. Now, there's probably going to be a whole new narrative and propaganda around that right there. But now, after reading this, can y'all see how a lot of this conversation seems to be steered in the direction of creating a narrative and creating propaganda for whoever, right? And we'll get to that in a second. But that's what it seems like. Taking the lack of information that's being provided in these articles by these hip hop pages and then running with it, right? When in reality, this is the reason songs aren't on the chart as well. Now, if we just having a conversation of stuff not being on the charts, I think it's a beautiful thing for hip hop in the, you know what I'm saying, when we having the conversation in that realm. But we talking about reality, this is the main reason. Now, I do think hip hop is going back underground, but that is not a problem. That's not a problem. That's amazing. That's exciting. Okay? Now, of course, all the people who only listen to commercial hip hop, only listen to songs if they're on the charts, only listen to songs that are popular, meaning that they only listen to it because a bunch of other people listen to it. It's really like high school, right? Then I understand why you have a problem. But if you just love hip hop, you feel what I'm saying? Me and my homies, we was listening to Mick Jenkins before he popped. Vic Mensa, Chance the Rapper, like guys you find on SoundCloud, boom, boom, boom. We took pride in finding the underground stuff that nobody found before they blew up. We took pride in that. We always argue about, I put you on it, bro. Nah, I put you on it, bro. I put you. And it's like, who found these artists and seen that they was gonna blow up before they blew up? That's what we enjoy doing. So this is amazing for us. And for the other people in the hip hop community, no matter what you listen to or look like, boom, 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 if you love this and you respect, even if you're not black, you could be a white person, boom, 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 whatever. That's how I feel. I feel like we inclusive, especially with this. We just want the respect and the rules to be in order. But this, no matter what you look like, right? If you love the core of this, then you are having a great time. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's an important conversation because we always talk about race, right? And I think anybody can consume and be commentators, right? But it's also about knowing the boundaries, knowing the rules, what conversations that are specifically meant for the people that's been here, or for the people that grew up and was taught what this is, right? So from that perspective, I feel like hip hop is so widely versed. You go to a lot of Caucasian people are MF Doom fans, love the production and boom boom and all the different stuff. You feel what I'm saying? Caucasian people are the main buyers of commercial hip hop, right? But what we got to understand is there's a difference between those who appreciate the genre and those who are listening to it on a bypassing level. They in their youth in college having a good time. Boom, boom, boom. This is what all the youth listening to, so we just getting involved. But when we turn, you know what I'm saying, 40 and 50, you feel what I'm saying? Like that's pretty much, there's a difference, right? You got the people who are listening to the music and they're really breaking it down. They're really enjoying it. They're really respecting the craft and where it come from, and some even partake in the craft and respecting where it's come from. Rest in peace to Matt Miller. But there's then the other side where they're listening to it on a bypass level, on a casual level, and there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is when those people then try to dominate the conversation and boom boom, etc. You feel what I'm saying? And really, it's just certain levels to it when it comes to listening to it growing up, being involved with people that listen to it their whole life. So I'm not going to sit here and act like, you feel what I'm saying, that the underground is strictly specific to one thing. I think there's a wide community that loves this underground hip hop shit. And if you can look at it from that perspective, then you can understand that hip hop is far from dead. And it'll never die. It's always going to be around. It's always going to be around. Now, if you want to talk about the industry, okay, you maybe one day industry collapses, boom, boom. But hip hop was here before that, okay? Now, I also want to go over the fact that what about all the dope stuff that's been dropping this year? There's been a whole bunch of different styles for everybody. For everybody. No, I didn't like Wham, but that's for somebody. You know what I'm saying? Balloonerism, Mac Miller, you feel what I'm saying? The After Death album. I ain't heard Dragon Season The Awakening by Busta Rhymes, but I think I'm gonna go check that out because Extinction Level Event 2 was crazy. Super crazy. If you haven't heard that, go listen to it. Extinction Level Event 2 was crazy. I think that was like 21. That was during COVID. Larry June, 2 Chainz and The Alchemist, The Life is Beautiful joint, West Side Gun, I ain't heard the Nardo Wick stuff. I've been meaning to listen to Friday because he did that Meat Mill verse that people were saying is verse of the year. He was on that song. That's him, Friday. So I've been wanting to check that out. That song is fire. And then you got Playboy Cardi, I Am Music. I haven't heard the Lil Durk joint, but I mean, it's something for everybody out here. West Side Gun. What's it called? I heard the Wu-Tang Clan and Mathematics. I heard the Benny the Butcher joint, but it's something out here for everybody, bruh. You feel what I'm saying? Lil Wayne, Carter 6. I hate that album, but you feel what I'm saying? Like, we pretending like people haven't been dropping. Like, people saying, oh, that's how the battle is the reason for this happening. Bro, everybody's been dropping. Everybody's been dropping. Maybe the music just ain't sticking. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's a part of it. Maybe it's not sticking how it used to. You feel what I'm saying? And then we get into the heat of everything, right? We got, I ain't heard of Dave East project, but we got Jig, God Don't Like Ugly. Crazy project. Fire project. Clips Let God Sort Them Out. Classic. Classic. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? The Emperor's New Clothes by Raekwon. Crazy. Crazy production, crazy verses. Nas probably got his best verse of the year on that album. I think it's one of the best verses of the year, period. You feel what I'm saying? Tyler Creator, Don't Tap That Glass. I rock with that Don't Tap That Glass. Super for the summer, that shit was fire. You feel me? The music when it was being played, you know what I'm saying? You going to the little events and stuff, like it was slapping. Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist. I wasn't a big fan of Alfredo 2, but once again, you got the Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist project. Young Boy dropped. Like, bro, everybody got some stuff coming out. Like, that's my whole thing. So, for people, Live, Laugh, Love by Earl Sweatshirt. Like, what are we doing? Supreme Client. Like, what are we doing? These are fire albums. I ain't like Lonely at the Top, but that's more hip hop. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, we got a lot of stuff. Doja Cat drop. I didn't listen to that. Young Thug was light. Bro, Mobb Deep. I wasn't a fan of the Mobb Deep album for real, but that's another one, bro. We got a lot of stuff from the culture this year. You feel what I'm saying? We got and even outside, even the commercial stuff, we got a huge mix of commercial releases and underground releases. So how could hip hop be dead? It's right here. What are you talking about? Like, yeah, the commercial stuff not charting like it used to, but there's a multitude of I don't think people want to hear that shit no more. Like, real talk. But that don't mean it ain't dropping. It's still dropping. But people don't want to say that the music just not sticking for some artists. You feel what I'm saying? They just don't want to say that part. And then check this out. Shout out Jackie, your OVO box got me crying. But shout out, bro. He just
When he was at the number.
Do you think that Drake and Kendrick beef fractured hip hop?
Yes.
Yeah.
We need Drake. Drake, when Drake was around, like when he was at the number 1 spot.
So you got to be admitting that Kendrick cooked Drake and he dropped from a certain spot. To say you need Drake and the dude been releasing music all year What do you mean? And you know what? Oh my goodness. I just figured it out, bro. I just figured it out. People can't listen to Drake unless he's charting. What does that tell you, though? What does that tell you? People can't listen to Drake unless he's charting. They don't even feel like he's a part of the, like he's here unless he's charting. Wouldn't this prove all the narratives true? That Drake is actually the industry puppet machine, boom, boom, all the different stuff. If y'all don't think he's here simply because he's not charting, that's crazy. He's still releasing music. I thought y'all liked Drake for Drake's music. But no, it seemed like y'all only like him if he's on the charts. And this proves what I'm saying.
Hip hop was still exciting. When Drake, after the
love Drake.
when Drake was doing his tour and lighting up the city and everything, it was lit.
Yeah.
Nobody can light up the city. I just said on other shit with Lord Sco, I said this shit is boring. Nobody's excited. Kendrick is a great rapper. He's dope, but he's not bringing the excitement to it. He's bringing the creativity to it. Drake was outside with the whores.
So, excitement and creativity are two different things. Okay. I think what he meant to say was entertainment, right? Which is totally subjective. Because people do find Kendrick Lamar's music entertaining. And if that wasn't the case, it wouldn't be doing what it's doing. But if you are not entertained by Kendrick Lamar, okay. But to say that creativity and excitement are separate.
He was all over the place. He's mixing and merging with everybody.
Let me show you
know what I'm saying?
So the reason why hip hop is messed up because Drake is not outside with the whores. Okay. Okay. In order for hip hop to be exciting, Drake has to be outside with the horse. Gotcha.
Drake could affect culture just by his gambling slip.
Yeah.
I bet $2 million on the Chiefs.
The gambling shit is crazy to me. Though.
Just think about
Drake can shake. After finding out what we just found out about the steak stuff, that comment is insane. Drake can move culture just by posting a gambling slip. Like, what are we talking about? How this has nothing to do with hip hop. We're talking about hip hop right now.
that. Just his
He
gambling
was adding excitement to it.
Yes.
Think about this, Drake. He would host awards, NBA weekends, stuff like that. We don't have another artist in hip hop that can do
the
that.
Raptors would be on television.
We don't have an artist that can do that, or we have artists that don't care to do that. I mean, that's the difference.
Because Drake would be sitting front row.
He's sitting on the sideline.
Yes.
He's bringing something. He's bringing a pulse to the culture. He added excitement to the
What
culture.
do you think the fracture? So now you think because we were having a big discussion about this the other day, and it's like it feels like people are picking sides.
Of course.
Like you either on the Kendrick side or the Drake side. Like why we got to
Because they're
pick
two
sides?
powerhouses.
So I'm gonna get into a whole nother video at this point. We're gonna end this video, but I just want to say this. Some of us were not fans of Drake before the battle. It didn't take the battle to stop being appreciators of Drake. It didn't, like, for somebody who, my opinion, I feel like I got some of the most valid perspective on that because I used to be a Drake fan. My video, How I Became a Drake Hater, go watch it. I break down the entire process of when I used to be a Drake fan, how I started to look at Drake differently, then when I stopped rocking with Drake as a rapper, then when I stopped rocking with Drake as an artist altogether. I have a whole documented process of that. So my opinion on the Drake, like, I'm not one of the people that always didn't like Drake. There was a point where I did. So I had a genuine turn from the music, bro. So when you look at it from that perspective, it's like,
When you have two powerhouses,
we you don't gotta say that everybody is picking a side. I feel like people are picking sides, but there was a huge group of people that didn't like Drake prior to the battle for a multitude of reasons, many of them which Kendrick Lamar spoke on.
It's always a fracture.
There's only one guy, one person that I ever seen toe the line with two powerhouses, and that was Bimmy.
Anyway, y'all get the point, okay? Hip hop is not based on the charts. Hip hop can't die unless the people stop making it. It's totally separate from hitting the charts, okay? That's a totally different thing. That's a little cherry on top, the money part, boom, all that. People aren't going to stop making the hip hop music, no matter what. And on top of that, it don't even matter because there's a rule that's for the reason for that. This whole conversation, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm glad to see this conversation happening though. But in reality, it's a baseless conversation because the rules are the reason that it's happening. You feel me? But we see the narrative that people trying to push right now. Like, comment, subscribe, especially if you're new here, especially if you've been here. I think I'm going to go live today. Yeah. I think I am. Probably like 3 p.m. Okay? I'm going to let y'all know. But like, comment, subscribe, especially if you're new here, especially if you've been here. I'm going to catch y'all, man.